Okay, whilst I'm getting my tan done, I did a little poll on my Instagram, or a little Q&A thing on my Instagram, and we're going to answer a few questions. So the first one being, how much do you spend on prep and or shows? In all honesty, it kind of varies. During prep, I would say food-wise, was it about £100 a week? I probably spent about £100 a week on food. So if we go monthly, you probably got about £400 a month in food. Then probably like about 100-ish on supplements, maybe. Again, I'm not talking just protein and bloody cream of rice and pre-workouts. I'm on about everything. So you've got your vitamin D3s, your sport multivitamins, your omega-3s, like on-cycle support, like hydrate, everything. Like before anyone stands there and goes, oh, how do you spend £150 a month on supplements? That's exactly how. If you're doing it properly, it should be a little bit more expensive. Obviously, there are cheaper ways of doing it. And then by the time you add how much you pay your coach and if you're paying for posing sessions and whatnot, I'd say easily during prep it can cost about £700 a month, and that's just the basics. And then obviously as you come round to a show, like show weeks tend to get a lot more expensive because you've got like travel and show fees and all of that. So again, a peak week alone could set you back probably, if you're paying for your shows on the week as well, like a peak week could set you back another probably £300 a week, I'd reckon. What's the hardest thing you've dealt with in prep? It's probably just getting in my own head, to be honest. Like, you can very easily go through prep and literally have no problems. You can have a perfect job, perfect work-life balance, perfect relationship, literally everything, which I do think I have got. But I'd say, yeah, the hardest thing is getting in my own head about how I look and how much I weigh and, just, yeah, whether I'm good enough, to be honest. So that's probably the hardest thing I've had to deal with in prep. Last year was completely different. Last year I had to deal with owning a shitty job. I want to do a show, but I don't really know if I should. That's not really a question. That's more of a statement. But I'd say just go for it. Like, if you think that you've built muscle, then do it. Like, there's federations out there where you don't even need to be built like a brick shit out. Yeah. You don't even need to be built like a brick shit house. Like, you haven't got to be ginormous mass monster to be able to compete. Like PCA, for example, they definitely favour conditioning over size a lot of the time. And there's other federations out there, like if you're in the UK, this is like FitX. Again, you don't get like absolute mass monsters, the same as UK UP. So as long as you're putting yourself in for the right class, like, you shouldn't really have a problem. What's your advice for someone who's competing next year and never done it before? Hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and make sure you've got a good support network around you. Something I noticed this year compared to last year, I have a lot more people around me now supporting me. I'm not saying I didn't have support last year, but I've got a lot more people around me supporting me. I kind of post quite a lot more on social media as well now, so I get a lot more people messaging me, wishing me luck, asking me how I'm getting on and whatnot. That's probably just the main thing, is just making sure you've got a decent support network around you, because you never know when you're going to like get right in the hole and really need someone to talk to. What do you do when you're hungry? Fucking deal with it. There's nothing you can do when you're
moan.
And moan. Yeah, there's literally nothing you can do when you're hungry. Like, I'm not going to stand there and say there's a magical food that you can eat that's not going to fucking bloat you and mess up your prep. Like, it is literally one of them. Just suck it up. You put yourself in the position to do a prep, so you've kind of just got to deal with it. Like, your coach isn't going to stand there and say, "Oh, what's up, mate? Oh, you're hungry. Oh, look, I'll give you another 200-300 grams of carbs," because all it's going to do is make it worse. And coming from experience, for someone who's cheated on their diet in the past, not this year but last year, as soon as you do it, the floodgates open. You think it's acceptable, and you know, if anything, it just makes you a lot more food focused. If you just forget about the food that you want and just put it to the back of your mind, prep becomes a whole lot easier. Like, when you're doing back to back peak, or when you're doing loads of peak weeks and stuff, like after the shows, you tend to go out for a meal and you might have a Nando's or something like that. I'll admit that kind of makes it a lot worse, because then you've had a taste of the good stuff. Is it true you lose your sex drive? It comes and goes is the answer to that. I'm not going to go into detail, but it comes and goes. It depends. It depends whereabouts you are in prep and like where you are mentally, and obviously whether you're like enhanced or natural, or like whether you're on a peak week, what stage of your diet you're at. Like it literally all varies. It's not a one size fits all, unfortunately. What do your family think of what you do? It is a very weird thing for my family. I'm the first one to ever really be interested in going to the gym. None of my family have really ever. Like, they're fairly in shape, like they're fairly fit. My dad goes out on his bike and my mum runs and stuff. But I'm the first one in my family to really even consider something like bodybuilding. So to them, it is completely odd and strange. They're very supportive of it. Like they turn up to my shows and they're always asking how I'm getting on, and they're always checking on me, make sure I'm doing all right mentally. But yeah, as for what they think of it, they probably still think it's a bit weird. Why would someone want to get up on stage half naked and essentially dance around? What's your thoughts on the natural scene at the moment? Very fucking impressive, is probably what I'd say to that. There are some natural guys out there that I've competed against who are like winning overalls in like open categories. So the natural scene at the moment is ridiculous. I know PCA, they're putting on multiple natural shows every single year, and they're like incredibly busy as well and incredibly competitive. Like I see some of these natural guys and I'm like, I literally wouldn't even get on to come near to them. Like they just look insane. But also, I want to go ahead and say like the juniors at the moment as well. I think where you've got such an influx from social media of people going, oh wow, actually maybe this is quite achievable. People are starting at a much earlier age now, so you get some juniors that are like absolutely tearing it up. Like I was out in the Netherlands a few weeks back, and the guy who won my class and won another class as well, he was, I want to say he was 23, and he was incredible. Like he looked, you know, he had the physique of a 30-year-old. Like he looked like he had the maturity and everything. So I definitely think that it's gone off the question, but I definitely think the junior scene is like super impressive at the moment. How do you balance prep with work? It's a bit of a struggle. Balancing prep with work is always going to be hard. But as soon as you get yourself into a routine, like I understand some people who do shift work or night shifts or whatever, it's a little bit more difficult. But I work a 9 till 5, so it's a little bit easier for me because I train at the same time, I get up at the same time, I do my cardio at the same time, I set my meals at the same time. So it's a little bit easier for me. Like when I'm traveling for work, it makes it a bit difficult, but all in all, yeah. Again, it's not a one size fits all, unfortunately. What's your plans after you're done this season? Go into a very long off season and focus on growth. I think too many people neglect an off season and are just too keen to get up on stage and compete. Don't give off seasons the credit that they deserve. You can't grow sufficiently in an 8 month off season if you're planning on competing at the same time every single year. You just can't grow in 8 months. So for me, I'm looking at probably minimum of a year and a half off. Really focus on growing, come back a lot more competitive, work on the judges' feedback, bring the areas up that I know I need to bring up. And yeah, just maybe back end of 2020, yeah, back end of 2027 might return to the stage, but you never know, it might be 2028. It's just kind of as and when I feel like I'm at the size that I want to be at. And this is a good follow on from the last one. Do you want to go pro? At the moment, not really that bothered by it. Obviously, I'm by no means competitive to go anywhere near a pro show or a pro qualifier. That's kind of why I want to go away for 2 years and grow and see what I come back looking like. Obviously, yeah, I'd love to go pro, whether even if that's just in the PCA league. But 100% it's definitely something I'd like to do. But whether that's something that's possible for me, I don't know. Again, when you go back and look at the juniors that are coming up at the moment, the sport's going to get a whole lot more competitive over the next few years. Where do I get my shorts from? Collecting gains. Code Alex20 for 20% off. That's a good one. Is prep expensive? If so, what bit? That kind of goes off of the first question. Prep can be expensive and prep can be very cheap, depending on how you go about it, really. Again, as I said, there's supplements. Like as for the supplements, you can just do a prep based off of just having protein and just having like cream of rice or something. Like you can really skimp out there about going down the route of all the health subs. Equally, food wise, it's not ideal, but you can, like, fruit and veg is probably the most expensive part. Like, you're probably doing about £5 in fruit and veg a day. So again, you can kind of skimp out on that, and I don't know. I wouldn't personally, but it is possible. And again, with the food, you can find cheaper ways of doing the food, buy it wholesale or whatever. But all in all, I would say prep is very expensive. I think prep's more expensive than off season if you do it properly. Again, you can always skimp out on it and make it cheaper for yourself, but the reality is, if you're going to do it properly, it's going to cost you a few quid. Like, and the most expensive part, hands down, is a peak week, because again, you've got, if I break down what I spend on a show, you've got just in that 1 week, probably, let's just be reasonable and say £100 on food that week, because again, you're buying yourself a lot more fats, you're buying yourself a lot more carbs, stuff that you haven't been stocking in the fridge or in the cupboards over the past few months. Then if you add your tanning fees as well, so I do my pre-tan at home. But if you're gonna go down the route of actually having the whole tanning package, that's £100 right there. Then you got your show fee, which is another 60. Then you've got, if you need to travel to the show, if it's not local, if you've got to stay in a hotel. So like the Birmingham show, for example, £100 on a hotel, 50 quid in travel minimum. Then you got £100 show fee, and tanning. So you're already at 250 quid there. That might be really bad maths. And then 350 by the time you add all the food and everything. If you're buying yourself a new pair of shorts, 400, 420. Yeah, it's not a cheap sport. Like this season, especially for me, I've realised how bloody expensive it is. But I think that's us coming towards the end of the tan anyway. So I'm going to finish Alex's tanning Q&A time, and maybe we'll do another one of these again before the British finals.